Hello everyone, myself Bautik Trivedi, working as an assistant professor in IT ICT department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. I will explain you the concept of block cipher mode of operation. So already you know the concept of the block cipher and stream cipher. So what is the difference between the block cipher and stream cipher? So in block cipher, whatever the execution is there, that is the block by block. And whenever you talk about the concept of the stream cipher, so in stream cipher, whatever the execution is there, that is according to the bit by bit. So in today's session, in block cipher mode of operation, total 5 mode of operation, that is in a block cipher mode of operation. In today's session, cover at least 3 mode of operation. In the next session, another 2. So first of all, the list out of the block cipher mode of operation and why we use the block cipher mode of operation. So stream cipher and block cipher already you know. Block cipher used in a variety of the application. So the mode of operation have been defined for this particular block cipher. So total number of block cipher mode of operation, that's a 5. First one, here you just see, that is the electronic code book, that is also known as a ECB. Second one, that is the CBC, that is the cipher block chaining. Third one, that is the CFB, that is known as a cipher feedback mode. Fourth one, that is the OFB, that is the output feedback mode. And fifth one, that is known as a CTR, that is a counter mode. So whenever you talk about the block cipher mode of operation, so total 5 mode of operation in a block cipher. Again I repeat the name. First one, that is known as a ECB, that is the electronic code book. Second one, that is the CBC, that is the cipher block chaining. Third one, that is the CFB, that is the cipher feedback mode. Fourth one, that is the OFB, that is the output feedback mode. And fifth one, that is known as a counter mode. So let's start with the first one. First one, that is the ECB, that is the electronic code book. What's the logic behind that? So start with the first one. Here you just see electronic code book. Here one technical word, the name, that is the code book. So why this particular term can be used here? What is the proper reason for that? So for a particular given key, there is a unique ciphertext for every B-bit block of plain text, because all of you know the concept of encryption and decryption. So whenever you talk about the encryption, one plain text is there, one encryption algorithm is there, one key is there, and you generating a ciphertext for that. But whenever you talk about the ciphertext, so for the decryption, you provide the ciphertext, you provide the decryption algorithm, you provide the key, and you generating a plain text. So that's why using the code book, but here that is known as a electronic code book. So must remember one thing, one block at a time, and each particular block of plain text is encrypted using the same key. So what's the main logic behind the electronic code book? The main logic is that block by block execution, and each and every block of plain text is generating a cipher text. So let's start with the one diagram. You just see, that's the diagram. In this particular diagram, that's the combination of encryption as well as the decryption. So here you just see, because all of you know the main fundamentals behind the concept of encryption and decryption. So already you know plain text, already you know the ciphertext, already you know the key concept. So here you just see, that is be block by block. So here the 64-bit block of the plain text is directly passed to the encryption algorithm with the key, it generating a ciphertext block of 64-bit. This is the way block by block plain text passed to the encryption algorithm plus key generating a ciphertext. So this is related to the encryption part of the electronic code book. What's the logic behind the decryption? So here you just see ciphertext is there, decryption algorithm is there, key is there, it's generating a plain text. So 64-bit block ciphertext directly decrypted to the plain text. So this is the logic for the electronic code book. So first one, that is the encryption, second one, that is the decryption. Okay, so let's start with the another concept. What's the strength behind that? Because you know the concept of electronic code book. What's the strength, what's the weakness, and what's the application of the electronic code book? So let's start with the strength. That's very simple because that's the block by block execution. What's the weakness of this particular technique? The weakness is that repetitive information contained in a plain text that directly show in a ciphertext. So that is the weakness of the electronic code book. And what's the application of this? So application is that that's a one kind of secure transmission, but that is for the short pieces of information. That's not for the long information. That's only for the short pieces of information. So again I repeat, whenever you talk about the electronic code book, must remember three important points. First one, that is the strength. Second one, that is the weakness. And third one, that is the application. After that, another one, block cipher mode of operation, and the name of the operation, that is known as the CBC. What is the meaning of CBC here? Cipher block chaining. So here using the concept of chaining, but how? So I explain each and every term of this particular technique. So let's start with the concept of CBC. So here you just see CBC, that's a one technique in which the same plain text block, if repeated, it producing the different ciphertext block. What is the meaning of that? If plain text block is same, it generating a different ciphertext block for that. So what's the scheme behind that? So in this particular scheme, how I operate the concept of CBC? So in this scheme, the input to the encryption algorithm is XOR of the current text plain block and the preceding ciphertext block and the same key used for the each block. So what's the main logic behind that? So main logic is that cipher block chaining mode supported the current plain text block XOR with previous preceding ciphertext block. But must remember one thing, every time using the same key. That is a one concept. Another thing is that if I want to generate a first block of ciphertext, so for this in cipher block chaining mode, one concept that is the part of that and the name of the concept, that is known as a initialization vector. So initialization vector is XOR with the first block of plain text. That is for the first block. And what about the another block? What about the remaining block? So that's this particular technique. Current plain text block is XOR with preceding ciphertext block. Each and everything I explain with the diagram. You just wait. On decryption side, the initialization vector is XOR with the output of the decryption algorithm to recover the first block of plain text. So let's start with the diagram. Must remember one thing. This is the most important diagram. So here, one for the encryption and one for the decryption, and that is the cipher block chaining mode. So already I discussed, if I operate with the first block, how I calculate this? The calculation is that plain text block is XOR with initialization vector, and whatever the output that is directly passed to the encryption algorithm with the key and generating a ciphertext. This is the logic for the block 1. What's the logic of the remaining block? The logic is that plain text block P2 is XOR with preceding ciphertext. Preceding ciphertext means what? That is the C1. Directly XOR C1 with the P2. Whatever the output is directly passed to the encryption algorithm plus key and generating a ciphertext. This particular procedure repeat for each and every block. Must remember one thing, in cipher block chaining mode, one calculation for the block 1 and one calculation for the remaining block. This is related to the cipher block chaining mode encryption. What about the decryption? In decryption, again that is the same thing. C1 is there, K is there, decryption algorithm is there, whatever the output of this, that is directly XOR with the initialization vector and generating a plain text. This particular procedure for repeat for each and every block. One calculation for the block 1 and one calculation for the remaining block. In remaining block, C1 is XOR with P2. C2 is XOR with P3. This is the logic for cipher block chaining, encryption as well as the decryption. So in today's session, mainly two important points. First one, that is the electronic code book. Second one, that is the cipher block chaining. Next one, but here you just see the formula first of all. What's the strength of the cipher block chaining? The strength is that because that is the chaining mechanism, that is the part of the CBC. So that is this particular mode for encrypting a message of length greater than the block bit, B bits. That's the main strength. What's the application? So that is the block oriented transmission that is used for the authentication. Here, this particular formula, that is the part of this particular calculation. Means if I want to generate the C1, how I generate this? Already I discussed. Encryption algorithm key, but first of all, plain text block P1 is XOR with IV. Whatever the output, that is directly passed to the encryption algorithm with the key, and whatever you generate, that is known as a C1. What about the another CI? So another CI concept, E, then after key, but what is the logic behind that? Current plain text block is XOR with preceding ciphertext block. How I write this? Pi XOR Ci minus 1 or Pj XOR Cj minus 1. But must remember one thing, J is always start from 2 up to the end. This is for the encryption side. This side for the decryption, P1 is equal to B K comma Ci XOR IV and Pj is equal to D in bracket K comma Cj XOR Cj minus 1. So that this particular procedure repeat for the 2 to n. So that's all about the concept of cipher block chaining. Last important mode of operation for the today's session, and the most important thing and the most typical one, the name of that is known as a CFB. That is known as a cipher feedback mode. So here you just see, all of you know, in DES total number of block bits, that is 64. In AES total number of block bits, that is 128. So block cipher mode of operation generally used with this. So if I want to convert a block cipher into stream cipher, so which particular technique that is the part of that? One, that is the cipher feedback mode. Second one, that is the output feedback mode, and third one, that is the counter mode. So cipher feedback mode, output feedback mode and counter mode, that is the part of converting block cipher into the stream cipher. So stream cipher generally eliminates the need of padding. So it directly eliminates the need to pad a message to be an integral number of block, because that is bit by bit. But whenever you convert into block cipher, so that is a block by block. So at that time you directly create a block of particular bits. So in stream cipher, no requirement of the padding. So let's start with this cipher feedback mode encryption. Fully concentrate here. This is the last important point for the today's session. Here you just see. First of all, you just see the diagram. First one, that is the initialization vector. After that, that is the encryption algorithm. Then after the key. Then after the concept of S bits, because here I am talking about the shift register. Select S bits and discard B minus S bits, because all of you know that is the concept of block. After that, P1 supported the S bits XOR, and then after C1 S bit. This is the logic of this particular CFB encryption as well as the CFB decryption. Here, why we use the shift register here? Shift register is generally used for the shifting of particular bits. Why we use the concept of selecting S bit and discarding B minus S bit? Means out of this particular block, you only select this S bits, and whatever the remaining bits, you can directly discard this. So that's the logic for this particular CFB encryption. How the calculation for this, you just see, this is the decryption. Here you just see this is first one in CFB. I1 is equal to IB. Means whenever you select the first input, so that can be considering as a initialization vector. After that, if you want to calculate the particular this thing, so first you take the I1 is equal to IB. Then after this particular input is directly passed to the encryption algorithm with the key, and whatever you generate here, that is known as a concept of output. So here you just see, again I move forward to this particular formula. So O1 is equal to EK comma I1, and then after how I calculate the ciphertext, again I move backward to this particular thing. So you properly understood this thing. So if I want to generate the ciphertext this, so that is the plain text XOR and this after this particular thing. But must remember one thing, whenever you take the concept of input, at that time you selecting only B bits and discarding B minus S bits. That is for the block 1. What about the block 2? So in this particular ciphertext is directly passed to the right hand side. Then after it directly passed to the encryption algorithm with the key. Out of this you selecting the S bits, discarding the B minus S bits, then pass to that whatever the output is directly XOR with the plain text and generating a ciphertext. This is for the encryption side, for the CFB. Same for the decryption, the logic only. So here you just see step by step whatever I discuss in this particular diagram. You just see whenever you talk about the input to the encryption function, so that is a shift register, and shift register contain how many bits? That contain B bit shift register, that is initially set to the some initialization vector, that is the IB. After that, most significant bit, whenever you talk about the most significant bit, so that what is the meaning of that? That is the leftmost S bits of the output of the encryption function are XOR with the first segment of the plain text block P1 to produce the first unit of ciphertext. So the question is that how I generate the C1? The main fundamental is that C1 is equal to P1 XOR MSB of S bits. That is there. This is the way you can directly generating a C1. After that, after the execution of block 1, whatever the content of the shift register are shifted left by S bits, and whatever the value of C1 is directly placed in a rightmost S bits of the shift register. This is for the encryption side. What about the decryption side? The same scheme is used, except that the received ciphertext unit is XOR with the output of the encryption function to produce the plain text unit. So this is about the concept of ciphertext feedback mode. So here you just see, again I repeat, I1 is equal to IB. Then after how I select the another input, so that is the LSB of S of the ij minus 1, and then after the concatenated with the C of j minus 1. O output already you know, ciphertext already you know. This is for the encryption side, this is for the decryption side. So that's all about the concept of the cipher feedback mode. In today's session, mainly 3 important points. First one, that is the ECB, that is the electronic code book. Second one, that is the CBC, that is the cipher blockchaining. Third one, that is the CFB, that is the cipher feedback mode. In the next session, 2 important mode of operation remaining. One, that is the OFB, that is the output feedback mode, and one, that is the CTR, that is the counter mode. So thank you for watching.